What's up, everybody? It is almost 2022 and my veg tent's over there vegging, getting plants ready for a bigger room, and this is that bigger room that the plants need to go into. So it's time for me to build out kind of the grow room infrastructure. So this is unlike most people who have a grow room. They have a dedicated room where it's either in a shed or some kind of rough kind of structure. This is in my house. So where most people would just put some beams along the ceiling and drill into it and do all kinds of other stuff, I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to be doing is building a structure out of 3/4 inch EMT and MakerPipe, where I don't have to drill any holes in my house and change anything around. So I'm basically going to be building a structure that is 4.5 by 9, and another one here that is 4.5 by 9. And this structure is basically, I'm building it by 9 at this point, but the point is I'm going to be able to break it up into 4 structures, which are basically 4.5 by 4.5. And basically it's going to be a modular kind of design where I can rearrange them however I want in this room, but basically a block of 4 is probably the best way to use the space. The other thing is this ceiling is sloped, so it'll be other considerations with hanging lights and doing stuff like that. But either way, the framework I'm about to build, I think, is the easiest and simplest way to do it, as well as a versatile way to be able to incorporate things into the grow room and hang them and mount them and things like that. Whereas if you don't have something like that and you're just going straight from the ceiling, you're mounting things a little bit different. Especially when it comes to the scrog net I'm going to kind of use later. It's a really simple way to use a scrog net. Either way, let me go ahead and get started building. But first, before I build, I got to clean up this room, which is basically a bunch of grow crap over there. I got to get this thing out of here. I'm going to clean up everything, vacuum, mop, and maybe bleach the floor, and then I will get going on the construction here. Okay, the room is vacuumed, mopped, and everything is moved to the side. And now it's time for me to go buy some EMT, 3/4 inch EMT. I have some in my garage, but I don't have enough for what I'm about to do. I've got MakerPipe. The MakerPipe pieces are in those white boxes over there. They've got a ton of MakerPipe fittings, so basically I just need to go buy the EMT and start chopping on my chop saw. Be back in the garage in a second when I'm chopping them up. Okay, so here's basically what the layout's going to be. These are going to be the top bars of this frame. They're going to be up in the air, obviously. These are 10 foot long. I'm only going to use 9 foot of it. I'm going to leave the bar hang off the end. Never know what I want to. Might want to hang off of that thing, or the EMT. Leave the extra foot of EMT on this end over here. Obviously, I'm going to need a bigger space in the middle. I'm going to move this whole thing over here once I build it. Once this stuff's out of the way, I'll be scooting over here a little bit farther once I build it. And it should give me enough room basically to roll a garbage can full of water down here, or wherever I want to get over to the veg center or wherever, and also up the middle here. Also, like I said, I'll be scooting over a little bit everything, probably about another, actually, that might be wide enough right there. I can fit a can through there and myself, so that might be about the final location, but that's what I'm looking at right now. But I need to build these things. What I made for length here, from the inside of this pole to the inside of this pole, and the same thing over there, is 4 feet and 4 inches across, which is basically going to be the grow area there. So 4 foot 4 inches across of each of these. And then, like I said, this is 10 foot long, but I'm going to make it same thing, 4 foot 4 inches, like squares on this. But I'll go ahead and start chopping stuff up. Now I've got these are going to be the top rails. I'm not going to mess with these. These are how these are going to be. But I'm going to go chop the legs. The legs are going to be 8 foot tall. And so it'll end up being about 8'2" for the entire structure. The legs themselves are 8 foot tall. The MakerPipe pieces go about another inch or 2 above that when it's connecting things. So I'm going to go cut a bunch of 8 foot EMT pieces, 16 of them actually, because I'm going to put, 4 4 foot 4 by 4 foot 4 squares. So 16 legs to do all that. So let me go get that going. It's gonna take a while. Okay, now here's a bunch of chop sawing later. I've got all the legs cut. These are 8 feet long. I cut 16 of them. These 8 for this side, and these 8 for this side. And each of them is 8 foot tall, like I said, and they come up right to that crease in the ceiling there where it goes up. So those are plenty tall. They're actually a little bit taller than they should be for that crease right there, because this is good. This structure is actually going to be a few inches off the wall here, which will give another inch or two for the MakerPipe fitting and the top piece to go across. So it's not going to be right up against the wall. It's going to be off of the wall a little bit, and that is where the, like I said, it'll fit just right up there. So either way, 16 legs, and here's the remainders of those legs I'm going to use here in a second when I start building this thing. And here are the here are some cross members I'm going to use. These are 4'2". So each of these is going to go across each end of the top piece. And here, I'm going to make sure these are the right length though, because what I want out of this, I want 4x4 squares coming from the inside of the pipe to the inside of the pipe over there, from the inside of this pipe to the inside of the first pipe over there. So 4x4 squares is what I'm shooting for. And I think 4x2 is basically the length I'm going to need for these other cross members. And there's going to be cross members all over this thing when I'm done with it, but I think they're all going to be about 4.2, but I'm going to measure real quick and actually hook it up real quick. Not hook it up, basically build it a little bit real quick just to check and make sure that's the right length before I start cutting a ton of these pieces. But that's where I'm at right now, and I'll be back in a second once I make sure that this is the right length, and then we'll go ahead and build the structure, kind of a mock version of the structure, and get the legs ready. And then, either way, let me come back and do all that stuff. Okay, here's what we got. So I tested out some of these MakerPipe pieces just to see exactly if they're the same or off or whatever. So I took a 90-degree MakerPipe and hooked up, obviously, the 4'2" EMT piece here. And now I'm taking just a regular connector, and basically I was just wanting to measure that I can use the exact same lengths of pipes for these MakerPipe, which I assumed I could because this stuff is slick. The MakerPipe stuff is engineered really nice, so everything's going to fit right. So I can use the same size EMT pipe with different fittings and get the same length. I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but basically it means that each one of these EMT, each one of these MakerPipe fittings, they come off the pipe at the same distance. So it's standardized. If you use this piece and a corner piece off the same pipe, you're gonna get the same distance off of the pipe as if you use the same kind of piece. Either way, whatever, it's standardized, modular, works really good. So now that I've figured out that I can use, these cross members are 4'2", which gives me basically 4 foot and about 3/4, somewhere between 1/2 and 3/4 inch between each pipe of actual space in here to work with. So we'll call it 4'3.5" instead of 4'4", but that's close enough. And that's the size I'm going to go with, 4'3.5" or whatever. Which basically I'm just going to measure all my cross member pipes out to be 4'2", and then that's what it'll give me. So I'm going to do that. Cut up about, I don't know how many, a ton more of these cross member pipes, and then I come back and go ahead and build this structure kind of with the short legs here. And I'll build the structure with the short legs, make sure everything's right, measured out right, and then I'll work on the long legs and then put them in. So I'll be back when I'm done with the cutting all the pieces and building the little structure here the way it's going to be. Okay. Here is the first basically ceiling quadrant built. So basically the first module quadrant type built there. It is on the inside of the pole, the inside of the pole, from the inside of the pole, the inside of the pole is basically it's basically a 4'3 3/4" each way. This thing's completely square. So I use the same size pipe here and on both those, on both these inside ones and the other end. So basically I use the inside to make sure this thing is square. Using these and those, everything's square now. And this is basically how it's going to be now. These two pipes in the middle I spread these out the right distance so I can hang my SE7000 lights from them. And that's about how far the eye bolts are to run it long ways, the lights. But either way, so that's the first one. This is obviously upside down. That is the top of the first quadrant there. I need to do one more. I'm going to leave a little space in the middle here, maybe probably a 3-inch gap between the next roof piece here. But I'm going to throw in the next one over here and then basically do the same thing over there. These are not legs that are going to stay on here. These are basically just legs right now holding the MakerPipe and everything together. And you can see all the MakerPipe pieces I use for this. It actually there's a lot of pieces of MakerPipe for this. But like I said, I'm going to leave these legs on here as it is to basically hold these MakerPipe pieces in place. You need a pipe in there. You can't just like leave them loose. So leaving all these pipes in here, I'm going to go ahead and build the rest of this with the short pipes. These pipes are just the remainders of the 8-foot pieces that I cut. So these are like 2-foot pipes sticking up here. These basically the fake legs, the fake 2-foot legs. And then once I get everything right shape, right size, right height, everything, I will go ahead and switch out those legs for the long legs when I flip this thing over, and it will be in its spot hopefully. So let me get that done now, and I will be back as soon as I'm done building all these tops. All right, so here's one half of it completely done, which is basically 2 sections. Each section is the right size for SE7000 light. So obviously later on I can cut those bars in the middle and have 2 separate pieces, but I just had them all together for kind of sturdiness and rigidity. But these things are super sturdy and rigid. And these things are a lot bigger than I thought they were going to be when I set out to make them, but they definitely fit in the space. Like I said, it's basically about almost 4.5 by 4.5 on the outside dimensions. So these legs right here are just placeholders. I'm putting these long legs on here in a little bit. Once I get both of them built, I'm going to put the long legs on, which will put this up at the ceiling. So looking good so far. That's what I was looking for. This is exactly what I was planning on. And I'll come back when I have the other one built, just to take another look. And then I'll work on the actual legs here. So that's all built and looks good. And it's really sturdy actually. My kid just sat on the thing and then didn't buckle even. So everything's looking really good. And I'll be back when I'm a little further along here. Okay, I am done with that part. I've built both tables. I still have to flip this one over. But these are, like I said, these are the tops of each, when I say tables, I mean I built both racks. These are the tops. It's upside down. This is where the lights are gonna be hanging from. But I figured I'd show you this because what I realized while I was building this is that once I get the long legs put in, and this thing is 8 feet tall, it would be simple for me to put in a couple extra pipes, or sorry, to hook up a couple extra pipes on each end and a few running long ways, and set this up for a flood and drain table. I could easily put a flood, like a 4x8 flood table in here. It'd be the simplest thing to do. It'd cost me like I would use probably about 6 or 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'd use 8. I'd use 8 of these 50-inch long pipes that are in the ends and middle, and it would cost me 8 pipes and some MakerPipe, and I could put a flood and drain table in the middle here, and still have the lights up top, run scrog nuts in the middle. I could do all kinds of stuff here with this modular design, but I'm not going to do that. It almost makes me want it to grow that way. I'm not going to grow that way, but like I said, it's modular, so I can put stuff on it wherever I want. So this MakerPipe stuff is pretty beautiful stuff. And one of the other beautiful things about it is, one, it's modular, but also there's no order of how to do this. You basically just put it together. So you don't have to put one pipe in before the other or anything like that. You basically, the MakerPipe goes around the pipes in a certain way, and you just put it together. So I can take this pipe out, put it in, take a pipe out of the middle, put it back in. I can do whatever I want in any order I want when I'm using this MakerPipe stuff, because it's meant to be taken apart. This isn't one piece. This is 2 pieces gripped around it. So you can take the piece off, put a pipe in without having to like poke it in this way or push it that way. The point is you can put it together in any order you want, and there's not some situation where you can be like, crap, I gotta redo that because I can't fit a pipe in now. You can fit a pipe anywhere you want, at any time you want, because of the way these things go together. So shout out MakerPipe. I've got one suggestion for MakerPipe, and that's to sell a drill bit that'll fit like this, because I'm getting tired of using all hand. Basically, when I build stuff, I like to use my drill as much as possible. Screws, whatever. I don't like using a screwdriver or anything like that. I like using the power tools. If I could get like a drill bit for this size for the MakerPipe fittings, that'd be fantastic. And this would have probably gone together twice as fast. But either way, it went together just fine, pretty quick. And now I'm going to flip these over. And I've got a lot of heat shrink wrap for these legs. I'm not sure I have enough heat shrink wrap because I ended up making like twice the amount of legs I was planning on making. But I'm gonna go ahead and throw some heat shrink wraps on these legs to make them white. So it's kind of a neat, nice looking white and black when I come in the room. And I'm gonna see how much this heat shrink wrap I have and how much of a pain it is. If it's not too much of a pain, I'm gonna put heat shrink wrap on all the vertical legs. And then once I get that done, I'm gonna go ahead and start standing these things up and putting the legs underneath. And I'll have basically the whole structure here, and I'll be done. Or I'll be close to done. I'm gonna do some other things too, actually. I'm gonna put in, I'm gonna hang some lights just for an example. I got two SB3000, or sorry, not SB. I got two SE7000s in my other room that haven't been put together yet. So I'm gonna put those together and hang them just to see what that looks like. But I'm sure it'll look good. And let me go ahead and see if I can get these pipes wrapped in that shrink wrap and see how they look in white. But I'll come back when I got all that done. All right, I'm just over halfway done. Well, I'm not over halfway done. I shrink wrapped one pole there, one of the legs, to see what it's like. And I've got the rest of these ready here. This is 8 more, so I'm 9 in. And I've still got 7 more to go for the legs. This is shrink wrap. I got this from MakerPipe.com also, which, hindsight 50-50, I probably wouldn't do the shrink wrap, but we'll see how it turns out, how nice it looks. I wanted to make it look nice because it's gonna be my grow room here, but it's a grow room, so honestly the EMT looks good to me, but I'm gonna make it nice with white. So it'll have the white and black, black connections on the white. It'll look pretty nice, I think. But I wouldn't do that again if I was me. If I was you, if I was anybody else who's gonna use MakerPipe, I would just use EMT because I don't think this stuff is worth the price or the hassle. But I'm figuring out an easier technique to do it, so I'll be done pretty soon here. I'm starting to speed up a lot, actually. So I got those tightened up. I'm gonna go ahead and heat up the rest of them. I got a heat gun that I'm using, by the way. Here's the shrink wrap sleeves I'm using. I got a ton of it. I'll probably, like I said, shrink wrap all the legs. This will be white all across the bottom. And then what I'm probably gonna do is see how much I have left of the shrink wrap after I do all the legs. I'll probably do the lateral pipes, which are gonna be just permanent. Like there's probably gonna be one permanent one on each middle and maybe a permanent one on each end. So I'll probably do the permanent ones first. And then after that, I might start doing some scrog pieces. These are all the same size, so I'll do as many of those as I can and then not worry about it after that. But I definitely I should be able to get all the legs, all the white legs up and down. And they're gonna have black feet on them too. I also have some rubber feet over there I got from MakerPipe, which will go on the ends here. So it'll be white on black with the feet and the MakerPipe fittings, and then that white shrink wrap. But anyway, over halfway done. I've got those 7 long pipes left to go here until I can go ahead and build the rest of this, and then I can worry about the other pieces. Hey, I'm back. I'm finally done getting the shrink wrap on these 8-foot legs and heat gunning them till they're tight and shrink wrapped. They actually look pretty nice. I'm not sure if I regret this or not. I'll know in a second as soon as I put them up and see how they look all together, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I regret it or not. I know it was definitely a lot of work that I didn't have to do. Either way, I'll be back in a second when I get these things put on these stands and put up high, and we'll see how everything looks here. Okay, I am done putting these long legs on there. I put the little rubber feet on the bottom of each of the legs after I put on the shrink wrap. I got the rubber feet at MakerPipe as well. So yeah, here's what it looks like. This is super tall. I still need to do a couple things, like basically sturdy up. This thing, by the way, this thing is using all the height in this room pretty well. But yeah, it's gonna be able to, either way, let me go ahead and finish up here. What I'm planning on doing, I still need to put I wanna put a brace across each end from bar to bar here on the ends. So 4 braces, and basically right above my height. So just above 6 foot's fine, as long as I'm not banging my head on it. I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna put, like I said, basically a brace across each end. I'm not gonna put any braces in the middle right now. I'm gonna do that later once I put in my RDWC reservoir and the manifolds coming out of it, so I can kind of match those up with the manifolds and have them something to make it stable there. But either way, so this is basically done. But like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and put the end pieces on to square up this whole things. So 4 end pieces, and then I'm going to go ahead and, I've got, like I said, I got a couple of SE7000s in the other room that I haven't put together yet. I'm gonna put both those together. I'm gonna hang them on this side over here, and we'll see how everything looks here in a little bit when I'm done. But yeah, this was actually a lot of work, but I actually think I do like the white. Now, I don't think I'm actually gonna see the silver up top where the lights are hanging from, but I will see this and where the scrog nuts are gonna go later. Things like that, it's gonna look pretty good. So either way, let me go get the rest of this done. I'll be back in a second. All right, I'm done. And this thing is basically finished, except like the finishing touches kind of, when things I need to use, when I need to use them. But either way, I put these stabilizing bars kind of on this end. These are slightly taller than me, so I can walk underneath them without a problem. I put the ones on the other side a little bit lower, but this thing is a lot more rigid and stable now. The other thing I did is I put in the Spider Farmer SE7000 here, hung one of the other ones. I still have to put one together and hang it, but there's basically hanging there, and I've got a lot of height here, so this thing is basically it's about 8, let's just say I can get my lights probably about 7'10" up in the air, I'm thinking I can get my lights probably about 7'10", because this thing's about 8'2" for the stand itself. So yeah, I think if I can probably get the those lights up, maybe 7'8", whatever. Either way, the point is I can get those lights way up there. So I got a ton of space to grow in, and that's kind of my main concern here, because I'm planning on putting 1 plant per quadrant, and you know, vertical space is always a concern. But either way, I made this thing as tall as I can. When I come back tomorrow, I've done almost everything I can do, but what I'm going to do is one of the major things about this modular 50-inch poles that go in every direction here. So this is a 50-inch pole. These are 50-inch poles. The point is, all the poles are 50 inches. They fit in each direction. So what I can do with those poles, here's a few of them. I made a few with the what's it called again? The wrap, whatever either way. So I put some of this wrap on a few of these 50-inch poles. I'm going to use these as scrognet poles. Actually, I'm going to use a couple in the middle for stability once I figure out where my RDWC system is going to go. But I'm also going to use them as scrognets along the side, so I can put them wherever I want across here, have 1 scrognet per quadrant really, or multiple scrognets per quadrant. But the beauty is I can put them in however high I want them, you know, and basically if I have a different plant and a different quadrant, it's going to be taller or shorter, then I can have that quadrant's scrognets up higher or lower. I can put on 2 or 3 in one. I can put on just 1 in another. It's this structure here makes it really versatile for scrognets especially. The other thing about this is this 3/4 inch EMT. A lot of people make their scrognets out of PVC, and I've done it before. But the problem with PVC is usually you use 3/4 inch PVC. 3/4 is pretty most common. But the problem with PVC is PVC bends. But this stuff does not bend. So basically, I can put 1 pole on each side here and just strap a current culture scrognet from one side to the other, and then just tighten it down. And this thing's not bending, and I can get that stuff like, you know, guitar string tight out there, which is my plan once I start throwing in scrognets. But I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. It makes the room look a lot smaller. Now this room's got this thing in here, the room looks a lot smaller, but it's still the same room. It's just looks like it's got something all the way to the ceiling now, so it's definitely makes it look smaller. But yeah, like I said, I've made it to the right size where I think I can walk in this side over here, get along the wall, mess with the plants on this side. I can walk through the middle I'm probably gonna have my reservoir for the RDWC system in the middle there, so I can walk through the middle, get there, and I can walk over to my veg tent and take a barrel, or not a barrel, trash can full of nuke water and go in there and make changes, or walk over there and do what I need to do over there too. So basically I made it as large as I could and still have access to everything from all sides is what I was shooting for, and I think I did pretty good here. So either way, I'll come back tomorrow when I'm not super tired and throw a scrog net up on there and probably clean up this these wires hanging down a little bit. So maybe throw up a scrog net or two just to demonstrate that, and then take a picture for the thumbnail. And that'll be it for me. Actually, I might put the other light up too on this side. The other side, I'm gonna use the 2 lights I have in my veg tent right now. I'm gonna put them on the other side over there. There's 2 SE7000s. So I have 4 of them out here, and everything will be even, and there'll just be a ton of light. So if you guys check back, I'll be doing other things to prepare for this room as far as electricity and environment go. But those will be other videos. Either way, I'll be back in a second when I'm completely done with this, and I'll wrap it up. All right, it's the next day, and I was right. I was tired because I'm not gonna actually put a couple layers of scrog down on here just to show what it is like. Either way, I got a bunch of poles over here. I'm finishing up making these poles. If I was gonna put a scrog down here, I'd put a pole across, and a pole across, and a scrog net over the top, and tighten it up. And if I was gonna do another one, I'd do the same thing. But I'm not gonna go ahead and do that. So that means this video is over. If you liked the video, please like, comment. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Appreciate all you guys who've still been here this whole time, and all the new guys. But yeah, this will be in action here, I would say, by the end of January, probably mid-January. I'm gonna transfer my plants out here into this area. Before then, I have to build my flower RDWC system. I need to put in a mini split over there on that wall. It's gonna be a little tight, but I think it'll be fine. And well, also have to put in some a sub panel on that side of the house, because it's just running power over and over and over. Just have access to the other side of the house is a good idea. But either way, like I said, if you want to see how this thing works, it won't be long until I'm throwing the scrog nets on all these plants, and get to see exactly how flexible this system is here. We're not on a fixed system, I guess a framework. But either way, if you watched this far, I still appreciate you. I will see you guys next time on the next video. I'll go ahead and post. I still got to post my grow video this week, and also the top fed cocoa perlite stuff. But either way, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.